Welcome to the I Am One podcast. On today's episode, we're sitting down with Michelle Yu, a perinatal mental health advocate, PSI volunteer, and the co-founder and CEO of a company providing mental health and career coaching support to folks before, during, and after parental leave. We are so excited to chat today about a topic that we don't often hear about, supporting working parents. On a side note, we want to acknowledge that all parents work, whether it's paid or not. We see you. Today, our focus is on parents who are managing a career outside of managing, all the other things that come along with parenting. We hope that you're as excited about this conversation as we are. So without any further ado, please sit back, relax, and enjoy this episode with our friend, Michelle. Michelle, welcome to the podcast studio. We are thrilled to be sitting down with you today to hear about your lived experience in the perinatal period and how that shaped what you're up to today. I just want to say that you come very highly recommended from another recent podcast guest. Shout out to Nancy Go Kelly, hey, who said to us, who you need to talk to? Michelle Yu. Let me just, Michelle, Danny and Emily, Michelle. She did a lovely little soft handoff, and here we are. So thank you so much for being here today.
Oh my gosh, thank you for having me. And yes, shout out to Nancy. She is fantastic.
We love her. I think that if you're ready, let's just jump right in. Michelle, could you give us a little bit of an introduction to who you are?
Yes. So Michelle Yu, I'm the CEO and co-founder of a company called Josie, which I could talk about in a little bit. I am so excited to be here today because I know what one of your questions is going to be. It's going to be about how perinatal mental health has played a role in my life. And I'm going to jump ahead and answer that it has played a huge role.
Michelle's running the episode now. The guest has become the host.
That's why she's the CEO. You know what I'm saying?
Yep. Go ahead, Michelle.
Yeah, I'm turning this around and asking y'all questions now.
No.
But I had to mention that because it is the reason why I am even here today. It's the reason why I launched the company. It's how I met Nancy. It's how I learned about PSI. So it's a really important topic to me. I have 2 children. They're 4 and 7 now.
Are you okay?
Emotionally? Or otherwise?
To be fair, I say that no matter what age, because the answer is kids are hard.
Yeah.
Period.
Oh, no, 100%. 100%. And this is like the little secret about my company that makes it so wonderful to have is that a lot of my team members are mental health therapists. And so I sometimes get like free coaching and therapy during team meetings.
Oh my gosh. We know nothing about that. Psych.
But I'm doing all right. But yes, they're 4 and 7 and I live in Washington, D.C. And I worked for many, many years in healthcare. I have a public health background and really started becoming more involved in the perinatal mental health space after I had my children and struggled myself. That's a little bit of me, and I'm happy to get more into that later.
Follow-up question. What role have these perinatal mental health disorders played in your life? Care to elaborate?
Thank you for asking, Emily. I thought you'd never ask.
Shocking questions. Yeah.
Wow. I'm a little bit thrown. Not sure I'm going to answer that one. So yes, it's such a huge role. It's actually, I think, as I was preparing for this interview and thinking about this question, I'm like, oh my gosh, this has actually given me so much purpose in my life. Like, I feel like I found sort of a purpose, just having experienced it. My first experience with mental health challenges was specifically in the postpartum period after my first. He was born in 2018. And then also again with my second, who was born in July 2020. Oof. So, and I know you had other guests on the show who've had babies in 2020.
Yes.
2 very different experiences, but in both instances experienced perinatal mental health challenges and also 2 very different experiences in seeking help too. So happy to share more about that. But
yeah, did you get a diagnosis? Tell us, like, what was the first and what was the second? What's the difference?
No wrong answer, because both of us did not have a diagnosis. So
okay, good to know. Yeah. So the first time in 2018, I was one of those people that, up until that point, I very type A, like to be in control of things, perfectionist. And I brought that with me into the pregnancy, thinking like, I'm going to figure this out. It's going to be fine. I don't really understand what the big deal is.
Yeah. I have it all figured out.
I'm going to nail this parenting thing.
Totally. I'm like, how hard can it be? Oh my gosh. When I look back at that, I often say that if I'm being really honest, I feel like there definitely was some arrogance there because I really, truly, I was like, I can figure it out.
Mm-hmm.
And I just like, I can't believe my line of thinking.
And you don't know what you don't know, but you're like, okay, but if I know the formula, I know I've got all the things, I've got the supplies that I need. What could go wrong? Like, hello.
I had everything prepared, bought all the things, like got set up,
I read all the books.
Paperwork done.
Yes.
Yes.
I did the homework.
I did all the homework. And,
yeah.
But I will say also when it came specifically to mental health, I had friends that had children and it just wasn't mentioned.
Yeah.
It didn't come up in conversation about that. This might be something to think about or expect. Not in my appointments with my OBGYN either. And I love my OBGYN, but they're not always trained on talking about those kinds of things. And so we just didn't talk about that. We talked a lot about my physical health and she was wonderful, but we did not talk at all about what maybe to expect after, which is I'm hearing is more and more common when I talk to others.
Yes.
So after the first in 2018, I did not actually seek out support. I just kind of sucked it up and I was like, I don't think this is right. But you know what? Maybe this is just like normal and I'm going to just get through this. And so I powered through that one without getting any help. It was really rough.
How so?
A lot of things. I felt myself being resentful of family. I was very short with people. I was hard on myself. I couldn't sleep. That was a whole other thing.
Well, that complicates everything.
Mm-hmm.
I know a lot of people have a hard time sleeping in that period, but I couldn't sleep at night. I couldn't sleep during naps, even when baby slept, right? I couldn't sleep. So there's definitely something going on there, but I was like, no, this is just, I guess how it is.
Yeah.
And I just powered through. And then I went back to work, continued to power through it. And it was even more challenging. Became very resentful of my team members, people at work, as if they were doing something to me when really I just wasn't able to speak up for myself nor get help and didn't think that that was something I should be doing.
Were you resentful that people were coming to work maybe like appearing rested or something and pulled together, or that they didn't have kids and they didn't understand? Or
more so resentful, like people don't understand. They don't get what I'm going through. And there's such these high expectations of me to be doing all that. I also got right back on the road. So I was a traveling consultant before I had children. And so I was back on the road, back on a plane the week when I came back. But I also, in hindsight, I didn't actually talk to anyone about my needs. I didn't express like, hey, could we maybe talk about a different travel schedule for the first couple of months back? But I didn't feel comfortable asking for it. I felt like people might see me differently. I didn't want to be seen as that team member that.
Well, if you're type A, you're a perfectionist, you're doing all the homework, you're probably doing other people's homework. And so the idea that you would ask for special consideration in any way feels big.
Yes, exactly. And I felt bad about that and guilty. But then what was happening at the same time is because I was burned out and, not well, then I just started feeling like, oh gosh, they're making me go on this thing. And I wasn't the best leader that I wanted to be. And I was managing other people. You could totally see that coming out. And it wasn't good for anyone, Anyways, when I started to finally like share a little bit more about what I was experiencing, it's like the floodgates open. It's like once you share with another parent, they're like, yeah, me too. And I'm like, oh my gosh.
You're like, girl, why didn't you tell me that 6 months ago?
I know. I was thinking about it. And like now when I have friends that are having their first, they're pregnant, I've noticed myself too censoring what I say. There's a sense that I feel like I don't want to scare people either. I don't want them to get nervous or anxious, but I'm trying to find, and I still struggle with this. I don't know if there's a good way that you all talk to first time parents too about like, here's some things that maybe you should watch for without giving them anxiety. You know what I mean?
Right.
Yeah, because you don't want to plant seeds.
Right, exactly. But at the same time, I kind of wish I knew before.
Right.
I don't know, so it's like a delicate balance, I think.
Mhm.
But for the second, I will say I got a lot smarter. This time, I actually proactively told my OBGYN how I was feeling. She's like, okay. She's like, I think there are some signs here of potentially postpartum anxiety, postpartum depression. And she did actually prescribe me medication that helped tremendously for both that as well as for sleep. And that made things so much better.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I think just the second time I was like, I'm going to ask for help this time. The last thing I'll mention too, I think in a lot of Asian American cultures or Asian American families, I've noticed with myself, my own family and some of my friends' families that there's just generally a stigma around seeking out mental health support. So for instance, when I told my mom that I might be experiencing something, mentally and emotionally having a hard time, and I love my mom. Love her so much.
Love you, Mom.
She's done the best she can. She grew up in a place where, that was not even an option.
Mm.
And she actually kind of laughed it off. She was like, oh, no, like you're being so silly.
Oh.
And that just made it worse.
Yes.
But anyways, I think about that a lot. And I know she's done the best that she could. And I definitely want to change that for my own children too, that they are okay to have those emotions.
Yeah.
So in your family, just your experiences, like people just don't talk about how they're doing emotionally because is that a reflection on the family? Is that a reflection on?
I think it's a reflection on, it can be a reflection of like weakness, a sign of weakness, a sign of, vulnerability that just isn't very common.
Right.
And I don't know if that's just the mentality of, my parents immigrated here in the 70s. It was tough, they assimilate to a new culture and learn a new language. And so they worked really hard to, get to where they're at, assimilate to American culture. And so there's always this like in the background, this sense of like, you kind of just like get it done, no complaining. And I see that too. I'm like, that's what you did, so like, that's what I got to do, kind of thing.
Right.
Power through it. And now years later, now that I'm, a mother myself and my parents are getting older, they're retired, I can see like how the effects of not having had that space.
Yes. I have a follow-up question.
Yeah.
If this were, I don't know, a heart condition or diabetes or something else, is there a similar, like, don't make your health condition your personal life condition?
Right.
Or is it mostly mental health?
Great question. It is mostly the mental health that the stigma is strongest. However, that being said, also with physical health, there is sort of this attitude of like, you can power through this. It's going to be fine. And, I'm fine. Let's not talk about how it's making me feel or if it's making me feel, not at my best. But mental health by far, way less talked about than physical health.
Right.
Michelle, way to turn on the microphone and talk about it. Thank you.
It's like, is this thing on?
I have some things to say. It's a big deal. So, thanks.
Of course.
Especially if you didn't grow up talking about all the feelings,
Of course. No, I appreciate podcasts like this that are bringing it to light.
Yes. When you went to your OB and explained, like, here's what's happening, were you pregnant or postpartum with your second?
I was postpartum with my second.
Was that like at the 6 week or at some other?
It was, I remember, I think I was thinking about this when I was preparing for this because it was a few years ago now, but I believe it was not at the 6 week appointment because I was still sort of like in person for some reason with her. I like couldn't say it.
Oh.
So I remember I followed up afterwards and I'm like, oh, I said something. And I think I ended up messaging her, telling her. And that's when she was like, yes, okay. And so I couldn't like bring myself to say it in person. The other thing I will mention too, though, and this ties back to PSI and some of the wonderful work PSI does. I did also ask her for therapy recommendations.
Oh.
That she was much less prepared for in terms of offering resources. And again, great OBGYN. I'm not saying that this is in any way, shape, or form like a shortcoming on her part, because I know that also just in general, that part of their training, there isn't a whole lot for providers there. So she told me, she's like, go to psychologytoday.com. And it's for Psychology Day, a great resource, by the way.
Yep.
However, on 2 hours of sleep and you have like no idea what's going on, you kind of want somebody to be like, call this person, they take your insurance.
Right. I mean, it's like opening up Netflix and going, what are we watching? Oh, cool. More decisions.
Right.
Like, I don't even know. What category do I start with?
Mm-hmm.
Totally. And I didn't know what it's PMHC, right?
Yes.
So I didn't know what PMHC even was back then. And nor did she explain what that was. Again, not expecting that she would know.
There were not very many in 2020.
Okay, so that's changed a lot since then. Okay,
Yeah.
I didn't even realize that. Okay, because I am seeing that designation so much more now,
Oh, yeah.
which is really good.
We're all over the place. Worldwide.
Awesome.
Worldwide.
To me, I was like, I can't go on a site right now and find the right provider for me that will take my insurance, that understands perinatal mood disorders and is, locally based here in Washington, D.C., where I live. So I ended up like not even trying. And, fast forward to when I met Nancy, your previous guest.
Hey, Nancy.
She was the one that told me about PSI and the wonderful services that PSI provides and helping people get to the right resources. And so that's how, and she was a volunteer. And so that's how I got involved as a volunteer as well.
How'd you bump into Nancy? Work or?
LinkedIn, I think, was
What?
like where we first met. I know.
Shout out to LinkedIn. Hey, you want to sponsor a podcast?
Yeah.
LinkedIn. You heard it here first.
You're really good at this. I heard your last episode. You're trying to get Brene Brown on here, right?
Yeah.
Right? Hello.
Renee.
Call us.
Uh-oh.
Hey. I love her too, by the way. But yes, I think we met on LinkedIn because we both talk about a lot of like postpartum challenges that we experience.
Okay.
The algorithm must have.
The universe was like, Michelle, Nancy, Michelle, discuss.
I know. I Motherly too. We had both did some work for Motherly.
Oh, shout out to Motherly.
Give us a call.
You want to sponsor a podcast? That's all this episode is. We're not even going to talk. Hey, Michelle, we'll talk to you later. Anybody else want to? No, I'm just kidding.
Anyways, but yes. So anyways, I just had to say, I am so grateful for PSI and I wish I had known about that.
Yeah, because you hit a huge roadblock in that you're like, I need help. Okay, like I've been given a prescription, which is a critical piece of the puzzle, right? Like, but then you're like, I'm a fish in a ocean of like Psychology Today choices. How do I?
Right.
Exactly.
So Nancy was like, listen, Michelle, did she suggest connecting with a local coordinator or something and like them helping you find somebody in your area or?
So I met Nancy, I want to say last year. And by then I had found my own therapist. And so she more helped me go through the steps of applying to be a volunteer coordinator.
Oh,
yes. Okay.
So I am now officially a volunteer support coordinator, I think is the right word, for the DMV.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yes. Yeah.
Where I come from, the Pacific Northwest, that's like where you go to get a driver's license. I was like, what is this DMV? Don't worry, I'm in the club now.
In Maryland, we call it the MVA. It's not even a DMV. Like we have a whole different.
I didn't know that.
Well, let's explain for everybody. Let's pause the episode for a second. DMV, let's break down some.
DC, Maryland, Virginia. DMV.
Okay, and then MVA is Maryland for
the Maryland Vehicle Administration.
Oh, MVA. Okay. That's where you get your license. Got it. Okay.
Yeah, that's where we go. We don't have a DMV, a Department of Motor Vehicles.
Yeah. Anyway.
Yeah.
Well, I'm really glad we broke that down for everybody listening. I bet they were really curious.
I don't think you should cut that out because that was informative.
We ask the hard-hitting questions here.
That's what I'm saying.
It's a lot to learn.
I mean, people know I'm obsessed with Maryland. So anyway. Back to you, Michelle. Anyway.
So, Michelle, you're acting in the role that you needed to say, hey, can you like hook me up with somebody who's perinatal mental health certified, like, and kind of like knows what's going on for me. And so that's what you do now. Oh,
yes.
That's amazing.
Yeah. I feel it's all meant to, come together and be this way. And it's so many things too. You think it's like, oh, just, go to a website and find someone, but it's everything from the insurance coverage to whether they take virtual appointments, whether they take in-person appointments, whether they're local to your area, whether they're, they have the certification. There's just so many languages spoken.
Right.
There's so many different things that it really does help to have someone maybe even at a minimum give you a shorter list.
Yeah.
Like narrow this down for me,
Yes.
So if somebody, let's pretend I just had a baby. I live in the DMV. We all know what that means now.
Yes.
I find PSI's website and do I go on there as a help seeker and just say, I'm looking for a therapist. I want to meet in person, and I'd like them to take my, insert insurance here. And then you're like, let me get back to you. I'll see what I can find. Is that how it happens, or?
Almost. Yes. So there's somebody triaging before they get to me. I get some information, some basic information of what they're looking for.
Yeah.
Usually what I'll get is their location, whether they're looking for like individual or group support.
Right. Okay.
And then specifically for what, whether they think they're experiencing maybe PPD or PPA, or maybe it was loss, whatever it may be, I do usually get that information. And then from there and then I get their contact information. And from there, that's when then I can ask them more specific questions about insurance, virtual versus in person, what they're looking for, are they willing to drive? How far are they willing to go? Those kinds of things are all in the follow-up.
Very cool. So do you call people or do you email or text, or?
They also tell you what the person prefers, which is great.
They would be like, Danny's scared of the phone. You should probably text her.
Person text.
You're like the operator in like the 60s and the 50s, right? Like you're like, hello, blah, 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 hold please, right? But you're making the connection. Like the person is like, I need someone who this, and this. And you're like, hold on. And then you're like, okay, you discuss. So when the universe put you and Nancy together and said, discuss, you're now doing that like over and over and over again for people. I love that.
I never thought about it that way, but yes. Yeah, it's really cool. And the PSI team has been awesome to work with. Melissa and Stacy and so
we heart them. Yay, coordinators team. Cool. Well, does it feel kind of like, it's like kind of a full circle experience. Like, you needed it, you're doing it.
100% full circle. And then also, yes. And then it's what drove me to launch my business and leave my consulting career, which was a really scary and still scary.
Tell me more about that.
Yeah, Nancy.
How many times have we talked about Nancy in this episode?
How many times can we say Nancy's name in your episode? We should have a tally.
We should tally it. It's good.
Hey, Nancy. So I was just thinking, just moving forward. So tell us about what you were doing before. Did you make a major shift career-wise? You were working for a company that was not yours, and you were like, I'm doing my own thing now.
What would you say it was that you did there?
Yeah. What is it that you'd say you're doing now? Follow up.
Where do I start? Okay. So before launching my business, I spent 13 plus years in consulting, healthcare consulting. What that meant was most of my clients were hospitals.
Okay.
So I worked in healthcare, loved it, loved my clients. And I would travel across the country to different client sites and support them with all sorts of different things, everything from how to make their facilities more patient friendly to how do you support the medical groups and making sure that, they see a path to career growth in your organization. It was so many different things. And it was really fun, really interesting, mostly nonprofit clients. They were all so great. And I really loved it. It was like a big part of my identity, having a career that I love so much. And I have my master's in public health and always wanted to work in healthcare. So it just really worked out. But it was a demanding job. It was travel practically every week, long hours. And when I had my first,
everything changes.
Everything changes. And I'm not by nature one of the most confident people. I'm not the person that I think traditionally when you walk into a room, you're like, okay, Michelle's a thought leader who can share a lot of great ideas. I've always been known more as Michelle can execute. Michelle can say yes to everything and just do it and do it really well. And that was that was kind of like my armor. It was like, that's what I can do.
This is what I do.
Say yes to everything. do it. I can do it really well. I can put in as many hours as you like.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not going to be the most confident person that could be in the room, like sharing like my thoughts on things and like how, strategizing or whatever, but I can get it done. I could not do that really anymore.
Right.
Once I had my son, because there's just literally fewer hours in the day. Like I actually physically have to go home and feed this child. And
You were like, okay, so I need to drive 120 more miles today, but I've got like a quarter tank of gas. This actually doesn't add up. Like,
Right.
I'm going to be pushing this car to my destination.
correct. And to take that analogy, to continue with it,
Yeah.
is the destination even the right one?
That's it.
I was always saying, like, I just do more and more and more and more because I'm like, the more I do, at least the more people will think I'm valuable.
Oh,
As long as I can execute, put out more,
Like hustle culture, right? Like we are what we do.
answer emails as quickly as possible, produce more and more and more, and then you will keep your value, Michelle. And so I can't do this anymore. And that was hard. That was really hard. So
yeah.
anyways, I don't think I even started answering your question yet.
Well, I was going to say what shifted because you were talking about like not being a visionary and I was like, who are we talking about? So what shifted to I'm not the idea gal
Right.
to I have an idea?
I think circling back to the beginning of our conversation, truly just how much I struggled postpartum and then going back to work and all these challenges in the workplace too, once I actually returned to work, just pushed me to the point where I was like, I need to do something about this. It almost wasn't a choice. It was just like, I have to do this. And I don't know, it's whether you believe in a higher power or not. It's like all these, I could see like the signs in the universe, like kind of pushing me towards this thing, little things. Like I was walking home one day from work thinking about this, like, should I not? And there was like one of those little free libraries that I walked past, where people leave books that they want to donate.
Yes.
And I looked inside and there, sitting there in the little free library, was The Fifth Trimester by Lauren Smith Brody, which is this book all about returning to work and how to support the return to work. I was like, oh my gosh, like this is crazy. And so like picked up the book. I also ran into people that in my life that I hadn't spoken to in years that were like wanting to help me with this, just out of just like personal experience and knowing how hard it is. And also just believing in the need for more help. And so these kind of little things all started coming together. And so finally in 2022, I decided to leave and launch the business. So it was much more, I was running towards something versus leaving something. I still loved my job. I actually loved my team so much and I missed them. But this has been amazing. And to your point, Emily, like, I feel like becoming an entrepreneur has opened up so much in terms of having ideas and finally giving me the freedom to be creative and actually be the one that can feel confident about sharing ideas and tell my story. And that has been a wonderful sort of outcome that I wasn't expecting when I became a founder. Anyways, and so now we're 3 years in. It's a lot of fun. It's tough, but it's a lot of fun.
It turns out Michelle is an ideas person.
Mm-hmm.
Spoiler alert.
Thank you.
Becoming a parent really has a way of like, showing us things about ourselves that we didn't know before, even when we thought we knew all the things,
100%.
Tell us about your business. Pretend that we are a client. You are you come and you're going to like, I don't know, consult us. You're going to fix us up. We're going to get judged.
Oh my gosh. We didn't tell Michelle that we were going to request a pitch.
No, it's not a pitch.
Oh.
Like, if you come in, you're going to be like, I'm going to suggest these things, right? Like,
yes. You know what? I like doing it that way because usually people are like, just tell us what you do. But this way, it's like a little bit different way of, okay, so you all are leaders in your organization.
Yeah.
Do you care about employee retention and engagement?
No.
absolutely.
I do. Sorry, I'm throwing the pitch. I'm joking.
I care very much about employee retention and engagement.
Oh, good, Emily. That's good to know. Did you know that one of the leakiest points in a person's employment journey is when they go out on parental leave? And this disproportionately affects women, although it affects birthing and non-birthing parents quite a bit. And they happen to be some of your most talented employees, by the way. They're usually mid-career. They've already invested some years in their career. We see a lot of directors, VPs, managers, level folks come through Josie. And isn't it this perfect opportunity for one of two things to happen? Either one, you can show that you care about them, build trust with them, and give them support they need and set them up for long-term success and build loyalty to stay with you and your company. Or the alternative, you can let them be mostly left to their own devices, not feel supported, get burnt out, and eventually think about maybe taking their talents elsewhere.
Mm-hmm.
Which would you prefer?
It's like the difference between needing to lean away from work in order to get through this transition into parenthood and being able to lean into work because work is supporting the transition.
To know that you're supported by your company. Oh, yeah.
And realize that actually you're bringing incredible leadership skills back to work because you became a parent, because you just became a parent. And to your point earlier, Danny, you've learned so much about yourself, what your values are, all that. You've strengthened emotional resiliency, all these things that the workplace actually needs. We need more leaders like that.
Like people who can pivot or think outside the box when suddenly the kid refuses to eat the thing that it was eating, or you get somewhere and you realize you don't have diapers. Like, I'm not kidding. Like, this is problem solving skill sets.
100%. Flexibility, problem solving, prioritization, emotional resilience, empathy. Like, I'm basically naming all the qualities that you want in like your executive level team. And so this is why we can help you with that.
Hey.
Mm-hmm.
Do folks in your company, is it like coaching for businesses or for parents, or tell us more about that?
Great question. So there are primarily 3 things that we offer to organizations. Most of our clients are businesses. So typically either benefits or like a learning and development team or a D&I team will usually bring us in.
What's D&I?
Diversity and inclusion.
Great. Thanks.
Yeah.
I'm making sure just for anybody who wasn't sure.
I mean, it could also be HR, right? Like,
Totally. Yes.
because it's employee development.
Correct. Yes, absolutely. Talent development teams. And actually, the one other thing I wanted to mention is we've been working a lot lately with healthcare institutions, mostly because of my background in healthcare. The people who will bring us in there, this is a unique group, but provider wellness teams.
Oh.
So like think teams that are focused specifically on provider burnout,
Yeah.
nurse burnout, that sort of thing.
Yes.
That's another interesting group that will often work with us.
Yeah, because the people holding space have to hold an awful lot of it, especially in the world today, right?
Yes. I mean, these are 24/7 caregivers, literal 24/7 caregivers.
Yeah.
So we provide both pre-leave support as well as support for the return to work we have both mental health coaching and career coaching.
Cool.
Our mental health coaches are are trained therapists. They operate in a coaching capacity. And then we also have career coaches that specifically focus on supporting people through this very, very unique life transition and all the things that may be happening during that time career-wise. So everything from, we get questions like, I'm up for promotion, but I'm going on leave for 12 weeks. How do I handle that? Can I ask these questions? Questions like what I could have used help with. I travel a lot. And I don't want to seem like I'm a bad team player by saying I don't want to travel for a couple weeks.
Help me come up with a language. Like, this is really what I want to say, but I'm scared to say it. Can we craft like a couple sentences?
100%. We actually have a role play session where we craft language for how you're going to ask and advocate for yourself to help navigate that transition. And ultimately, people are more likely to stay if they're able to do this because they're like, oh, well, really what I needed was just some help with learning how to appropriately communicate for my needs. And then my manager is like willing to work with me.
Yeah. Right.
So anyways, yes, that's the crux of what we do. But sorry. And the last thing, we also work with a lot of employee resource groups, or ERGs is a common terminology, or BRG used in employers. They're basically, I'm seeing so many of these formed, by the way, parent and caregiver employee resource groups.
Oh, cool.
Just like a women's group or an LGBTQIA group or whatever it may be. I've seen so many parent and caregiver groups pop up in the last 18 months because people are just looking for community.
It's like a place where people will connect with each other
Yes, they'll hold events. They'll do volunteer events. They get together. They usually have a Slack channel.
Oh,
Just
cool.
share ideas. Yes, it's just a place to build community. ERGs I love ERGs. They're the best. So we work with a lot of ERGs with events. And so we do a lot of events to help build community. And the last thing we do is we train managers. So that's probably like almost my favorite part of what we do is we train managers on how to show up with empathy, how to show up with the right language to support your employees that are going through parental leave and coming back to work, how to manage the team member who may be feeling a little bit resentful because they had to provide coverage.
Ah, right.
I actually get a lot of questions about that. I'm actually okay with the person going out on leave, but the person that has to cover, how do I manage their emotions and how they're feeling? So anyways, really fun. And that's what we do. Thank you for asking.
You saw a need. You had a great idea. You did the thing. You're doing the thing. That is so cool.
Thank you.
Because, there's so many working parents out there that are, outside their house, inside their house, whatever, like with kids. And there are lots of questions, like lots of unknowns. I didn't know, like, what was I entitled to? Like how many weeks of leave, and I was so worried about lots of different things.
Or like helping folks negotiate or discuss with management. What if I would rather give a couple of hours of work during my leave than to come back to a pile of everything, right? Like then I get a little bit more leave, right? Like, there are ways to sort of think outside the box instead of just like you are working, you are off on leave, and then you are working again. Like
100%. And the thing is a lot of people don't sit down and just have those conversations, to plan ahead and think about what that might look like. You kind of just get stuck in the mindset of like, this is how it's always been. So that's just what we're going to do. There are different ways to help, like even thinking about my own experience, thinking I just have to go right back on the road and travel. Like looking back on that, like I'm sure like my manager and I could have worked something out where maybe for the first like 2 weeks I didn't travel, or I could have dialed into one of those meetings.
Yes. I
don't know. There's like so many different things. Or maybe I've heard of, there's one company we work with where so cool. They have a lot of traveling sales folks. And so what they did was they allowed for a group of them who were new parents to actually bring their kids with them on this big sales event. Mm-hmm. And they have a Bright Horizons benefit. And so they had like a childcare center there where they could put their kids in it and they could all be with their babies. And it was like such a cool, like out of the box.
Yes.
These people they love the company. I'm telling you, they're still there years after they're the best salespeople.
Yeah.
If you can get a kid to eat their vegetables, you're good at sales. I'm sorry. Like, that means you have negotiation skills, okay? Like,
by the way, I can't get my kids to eat vegetables. Maybe that's why I'm not able to sell my business as well.
You gotta blend it up so they can't see.
Gotta work on it.
Well, this is really incredible. I think we were so excited when we heard about what you're doing to have this conversation today. So that's great. Thank you.
Thank you for putting me on.
Oh, yeah. Is there anything else that we haven't asked about that you'd like to tell us about?
Related to your lived experience or your business?
Like before we ask you about like your astrological sign or whatever?
Yes,
I'm just kidding. No.
I'm joking. I'm so excited for the lightning round. But one last thing that I'll just add is I mentioned this at the beginning when I was talking about our business is I do think that healthcare providers are a cohort that are in dire need of support. And so, there's also stigma there on seeking mental health support. So I do encourage, like, if you have providers that listen to this, to reach out to PSI or, find different ways to be able to get support you need, because I'm personally seeing a lot of attrition, particularly among, female physicians and nurses. And we need you because that's the providers that I work with and I don't want them to leave. And so I just think like maybe even doing an episode, if you guys can find the right guest to talk specifically about how to support the healthcare workforce.
The helpers need help.
The helpers need help.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
That's the last thing I'll say.
Yeah.
Anybody has any hot tips? Apparently we're taking requests. Let us know.
I have some ideas for you that I'll share after.
Yeah, that's top secret. Sorry, listeners.
Are we ready for the lightning round?
I'm ready.
I think so.
This is obviously your favorite podcast. So what's your second favorite podcast?
If you wanted to recommend something to our listeners, does not have to be mental health related.
this is somewhat mental health related, but I've been listening to Mel Robbins a lot lately.
Hey, Mel.
Hi, Mel. Want to be a guest?
Call us.
Cool.
Yeah, love that one.
Okay. Are you currently binge watching or reading or listening to anything good? I'm just about broke. I'm not broke, but the number of great recommendations for books, oh man, that we've gotten from guests, it's pretty incredible. So I don't know. Are you reading something? Watching something on Netflix?
I'm going to hit you with all three.
Oh,
Just finished reading Maybe You Should Talk to Somebody by Lori Gottlieb. So good. Maybe You Should Talk to Someone, I think is the name. It's so good.
What genre is it?
It's like kind of like her memoir. She's a therapist and she talks about she goes through like some of her stories with her patients and about herself also as a patient.
Oh,
I just don't know even how I stumbled upon it, but it's one of the best books I've read in the last year.
It was probably Nancy.
I'm sure it was Nancy.
Yeah. I'm going to have to tell her to listen to, of course.
This is literally the 100th time her name has been mentioned. Okay.
I know, right?
I'm watching Hacks.
Oh, okay. That
So
has
good.
been a hot recommendation.
Hot rec. Yeah.
Really?
Yes.
Yes. Many people.
In the last 2 weeks of us recording with guests.
Because it's going on right now. The finale, I think, is tonight. Maybe that's
Probably. Yeah.
Oh.
That's probably why.
that's why.
Okay.
And then listening to this is very obscure, or I don't know if it's that obscure, but if you have any listeners that are Sufjan Stevens fans,
Oh.
no,
Who?
he's coming out 10th anniversary of his album Carrie and Lowell. Sufjan Stevens, Sufjan Stevens, comes highly recommended by Michelle Yu.
Okay.
Okay. Cool. I'm gonna have to check it out.
I'm good. I didn't prepare for that question at all.
Okay, speaking of hacks, what's your best parenting hack?
Oh my gosh, that's the best.
See what I did there?
That was so
That
good.
was
Boom.
Okay, best podcast host, amazing.
wow. Hey,
I'm number one.
Michelle. I'm just kidding.
We'll come up with a good pun later.
Okay.
Oh gosh. Okay. Yes. Hack. Parenting hack.
Yeah.
This one, because my son is 7.
Mm-hmm.
This one I think is maybe for those with a little bit older children. I heard this on I think it was Dr. Becky, maybe.
Oh, Good Inside, Dr.
Good
Becky.
Inside.
Hey, Dr. Becky. You want to
Hi.
hang out with us too? We'll just shout everybody out today.
Okay, so a way to connect with your child is by inviting them to brainstorm with you, and when it comes to solutioning about your own challenges.
Mm.
Yes, which I'm like, oh my gosh, brilliant! Like he turned 7. I'd been having some, a little bit of challenges with connecting with him lately, and so I was struggling with something at work, and I just was driving in the car with him the other day. I'm like, hey, Theo, so I'm actually having a hard time with something. I'm curious what you think about it. And he started to engage. He's like, why don't you try this, Mom? And I'm like, and it was actually kind of a good idea, actually.
Hmm?
But anyways, so that's my,
That at the moment is working well for you.
yes.
My hacks work for a while and then I have to come up with a new hack. I love that hack.
It'll change next week, but
Yeah. But for this week, that's it.
this week, that's
That's
it.
a great suggestion. I like that.
Mhm.
I think kids like to be involved and not be told
Yes.
what to do all the time,
Right. Now, I want their opinions, and I wasn't really asked that one by my parents when I was growing up. I can't remember a time when my mom was like, hey, so I'm struggling with this. Do you have any ideas for me?
Yeah. Literally never heard that.
Anyway,
Awesome.
it was weird to ask her 7-year-old dad, but whatever.
It's okay. Hey, what is one way that you will show yourself a little radical love today?
Oh, so I'm going to take the night and I'm going to go to a Fair Play screening here in DC and we'll meet Eve Rodsky.
Oh, snap.
Oh, snap. I know.
Oh my gosh. Wait a
Okay.
second. Hang on.
I'll shout Eve.
Eve, can you hear us? I'm going to be waiting by my phone for a lot of people to call us after this episode. Yeah. Tell me again. I heard Eve Rodsky and Fair Play and then I sort of blacked out because I was excited for you.
Thank you.
Is it it's a play or it's
there's a documentary of the book.
Yes.
There's a documentary version. They're doing a screening of it here in DC
cool.
today. Screening.
Ooh.
And so I heard about it through a friend. And so I registered and I'm going to go. There's a screening of the actual documentary. And then I think there's a book signing after.
Oh
my gosh.
Right?
That's so cool.
Touring across the country. I don't, maybe going to different locations. So
Eve, call us. That is so cool. I love that. That's great.
Yes, I'll tell her to reach out to y'all.
Okay.
Yeah, please give her our card.
Tell her Nancy sent you.
Oh my God.
Can't wait for her to hear this.
I know. Me too.
She's going to be like, you guys are strange.
We need to be in the same place at the same time and get like a nice little group hug.
Yes. Oh, that would be sweet.
All right. What is one thing that today you wishes that you could jump into a time machine and go back and say to pre-recovery you?
Oh my gosh. Well, PSI, that I wish I knew about PSI.
You're like postpartum.net. That's it. That's all I'm going to say.
I swear I wasn't paid to say this.
Like she's not being paid.
But in all seriousness, like I kind of wish I knew about it.
Like it doesn't have to be this hard. There is help.
There's help. Yes. And that there was a easy way to get in touch with someone who could have helped me that was specifically focused on this exact challenge.
Yeah.
Would have been good to know.
Yeah. Michelle, we really like to make sure that our guests are staying hydrated. How do you take your water? Bubbles, no bubbles, flavor, with ice, room temperature? Tell us.
Okay. I like it cold. I like cold water with ice. That's why it's in this very secured Stanley cup.
Okay. Very cool. I too am a cold water fan.
Yes, I agree.
Thank you for caring about my hydration.
You're welcome. Yeah, we got to check in on people. Okay. We're moms.
Okay, how can folks get a hold of you? You or your biz if they're like, I need that.
Yeah, do. Especially if you're a business, HR folks, learning development folks, healthcare systems, physician wellness. Sorry.
No, hey.
Yeah.
You have the mic.
myjosie.com is our website, myjosie.com. And my email is Michelle, MICHELLE, at myjosie.com. Please reach out. We would love to chat with you.
Yeah.
Well, that's fantastic. Thank you. I will make sure that we put links to all of that in the show notes. Emily, would you like to take us out?
I would love to. Okay, Michelle, as a fellow DMVer, I just made that up. That's a new word. I think that it is so important to talk about the conversations around race, around stigma, around getting help, and around that there are resources that are available to folks here, but when you have to sift through them, that's overwhelming. So thank you so much for telling your story and for the work that you are doing with Josie and as a coordinator, because we got to connect those dots. So thank you so much for being here.
Thank you for having me. This was so much fun.
This was a lot of fun.
Whoop, whoop.
All those other people shouted out need to get on here.
I know, right? Call us. Hello.
Thanks for tuning in to the I Am One podcast. Check out today's show notes where we'll drop links to all the important things that we mentioned in this episode. Please consider sharing about I Am One on social media and following and rating our show wherever it is that you listen to podcasts. It only takes a minute of your time and, well, that'll help our collective mission of bringing resources and local support to folks worldwide. From everyone here at PSI, thanks again for listening.